what's a good amount of time someone should be president?
0.
So how do we run things with no president?
Well, here's the problem with term limits. Well, it's simple. Everyone does what they're supposed to.
The problem with term limits is when you start out, you're doing the toughest job in the world, and you're a newbie.
Well, also that you're incentivized to get all. You don't have a long time span,
right.
So you don't really have a concern about what happens in year 9 because you have no possibility of being reelected. So the incentive, and if you look at New York, term limits got us de Blasio. Right, because Bloomberg was there for 2 years. He cheated. He made it a third term. He got his third term. He got elected. De Blasio comes in, and it's just like
fucks everything up.
I mean, when's the last time you were in New York? Pretty recently.
Pretty recently, yeah.
It's It's so awful. I could talk about this all the time. It's just so heartbreaking to see.
I was in New York during the pandemic, and we heard gunshots while we were getting falafels.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we were at a falafel stand, and we were bang, bang, bang. It's like, oh, gunshots.
Did you see
2 in the morning in New York City?
And you saw Lori Lightfoot when she lost her nomination. She said, I've made Chicago a better and safer city. Like, these people are shameless.
Ooh, I think they're crazy. I think that's why they're running in the first place. I mean, she used to dress up. Remember, she dressed up like a superhero?
That's right, yeah.
To fight COVID. She's a crazy person.
Yes, you could see it in her eyes.
Yeah. But, they like the idea of having her. I think it's more the idea than the actual person. I think we're in this time where you look at the performance of some of these people that are in these places that always vote blue, and you go, this is kind of crazy that you guys are sticking to this way of running cities when it always fails. Like it fails spectacularly almost every time.
But there's different ways of voting blue failing.
Oh yeah,
like it's not always voting blue means crime.
No, but it seems like that today. It seems like that now, that voting blue means being softer on crime. It means that you recognize that there's too many people in prison and that the United States has more people in prison than any other country in the world, and that we have a prison industrial complex, and that you have corrupt judges and you have incompetent lawyers, and you have a lot of factors that lead to people to be prosecuted for crimes that they didn't really commit, and they get incarcerated.
Or things that shouldn't be crimes to begin with.
Yeah, many of them.
Yeah.
Well, probably like a large percentage of people in this country in jail for drugs. Right? I don't know what that percentage was, but I do know that it was a scam when Biden was saying, everybody's in jail for possession of marijuana, you're going to be free. But there's no one in jail for possession of marijuana in a federal prison.
Right. It's all state.
It's all distribution.
State laws, yeah.
It's all sales. It's all like you're a drug dealer. It's not like you just have weed.
Yeah, but it's
like he's saying marijuana possession. Like how much? Well, what if I have 1,000 pounds?
What they call that, intent to distribute, right? At a certain point, it doesn't.
You're a fucking drug dealer,
or it could be you're just a big drug user.
Well, at a certain point, you can't argue that. Like if you go over some dudes' houses, like in California where it's legal, right? Go to Be Real from Cypress Hill's house. Like,
okay.
What kind of fucking compound? With what I mean, he's probably got every kind of weed known to man at his house.
Jim Baker situation, right? That he's waiting for the rapture, so he's got tables made out of of kush.
But I mean, if you go to most people's house, you find a couple of joints. But it doesn't mean that he's selling. It just means he likes weed more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you go to my friend is a wine collector. You go to his house, he has like enormous wine room, and it's all like temperature controlled and shit. He's not a wine dealer. If wine was illegal, you wouldn't say that this guy's a fucking criminal. He's about to sell wine to everybody. No, he likes wine.
When I did grand jury, this was some of the things they were trying to put people away for, and these were like teenagers, and they wanted to get them like he's got 1 pound, 2 pounds. I don't remember what it was.
My God.
Of weed, let's put away. And it's not that hard to convince people to let them walk. It's like, listen, do you want to ruin this kid's life because he has a lot of weed? And people are like, yeah, you're right.
It's stupid.
And
weed
the DAs
should be
come back
100% legal.
And the DAs come back and they're confused because we refuse to indict them, even though they had them dead to rights. So that's something people can do to keep people out of jail.
The violent crime thing, though, is not great. And when people commit violent crimes, oftentimes they're mentally ill. And if you just let those people right back on the street and they just got away with committing a violent crime, the chances of them committing a violent crime again are probably pretty fucking high.
Yeah, but
especially people that have like a long history of violent crime.
But they don't need to be mentally ill. If it's legal for me to steal from CVS or Dwayne Reed, I could just go in with my shopping bag, fill it up. They're not going to stop me. Yeah. I'm not going to get arrested. If I get arrested, I'm still up ahead. Yeah. So why not do it?
Why not do it? And then, what is it? Was Which one was it? Walgreens that pulled out of Portland, or Walmart? Did Walmart pull out of Portland?
That doesn't make sense.
Because just the thefts?
They're like, we can't do this anymore. Yeah, like you guys are crazy. Like you're just letting people steal things. Like,
Yeah,
this is nuts. You steal up to $900 worth of stuff, and no one's supposed to stop you. So people just walk into stores and steal things.
Yeah,
like,
but this was the thing in like the late 60s, early 70s, and this was a big problem for the Democratic Party because they were big on like so-called like civil liberties, civil rights, things like that in this context of rights of the accused.